Hello friends, I Dr. Pankaj Kumar Goswami welcome you all again machine learning using Python series of tutorials. So many things we have already discussed about the scripts as well as the tools in a Python. So now today we have a target to understand about the basically function and the arguments. What are exactly this one? So here I'm going to take this topic. For the convenience of the user who is just watching this video very first time, I'm just making it clear right now we are using the Google Colab platform to write programming scripts of Python language. But this is not only the platform where you can write. It is just only an open resource platform available on internet. That's why I'm just picking it up all. Meanwhile, later on in the further series, we'll go for this Jupyter as well as the Python itself, its own open source platform, and Spider too. So right now, again, we are starting with the Google Colab. So as I already told you, it is very simple. The Google, type simply your Google Colab and open up your library. So while as those who are working with me for the series of tutorial, they might have this understanding that we have created a file on which we are continuing our work. So now we are going to open this first program. This is the file we have already created. So almost all the programming scripts are being written here. I really request you all, if anyone wants this particular program file, I can share with you. Just drop a message in a comment box to me. I can share this file to you so you can work upon on that. So before going to start, remembering about that, you should connect your file with the local server of the Google. Fine, so that it can easily execute the programs you are looking for. Moving ahead. So we have just created all the things, all are here assigned. So you may easily go for a practice of all these. So last time, dear learners, we talked about the loops attribute, how it can work upon. And in this tutorial, we are going to learn Python function and the arguments. These are really very much important. So creating a new code line. And today we have a target, Python functions and arguments. This is what we have a target today. So let's begin with what exactly the Python function and the arguments. Basically, function is used to do some specific work. We can split a large task to some work distribution and do them separately, which will enable us to debug program easily. The basic structure of the Python is functions. We have. See, number of the time it happens, we have a certain kind of a module that required to be repeated again and again in a program. And that kind of a particular thing can be created in the form of function. Let's take an example. Suppose we have created a machine. In that machine, a particular module has to be repeated again and again. Like, just taking an example. If suppose I have a smart home system, and in that smart home system, all the utilities, whatever the utilities are there inside the home, that all will be functioning on the basis of the person who is entering from the door. So the function which is checking continuously it is basically to be called again and again to check whether the person is here or not, so that the other utilities like the LEDs, like the fan, like the AC, television, fridge, and rest of the things will start working. So it all depends upon what? It all depends upon one specific kind of a program to check whether some physical personality is available there or not. If this personality is not available, then definitely there is no use to run all these other programs. So that may be recalled repeatedly times, and that can be helped with the help of a loop. So the combination of the loop and function is really very good and helpful in the Python learning. So let's begin with this. So how we can go for? We can easily write a define. You can define your function, whatever your function you aim you would like to give them. function. You may give its name, whatever the function name you are giving, and you can create your argument. And at the last, there should be a column. This is basically a way in which you perform this. This is basically a way how we can define a function here. So as this is not a program, so I'm just making it in a comment box, like that has been created a comment. So you just go for this. Let's take an example to understand this particular function defining and the argument process. So let's begin with very simple example, creating a new code line, and this code line will take, suppose that I'm defining one function, defining, and any name you can give, whatever the name you would like to give your function is that. Let's take, it's my function. It's my function, I'm defining it, and then after colon and print something. Welcome to ML using Python. So well, here I just defined my function, and under the function I'm just defining this print welcome to ML using Python. This is the way. So how we can call upon this function? So this is the way to call function. Let's see. If suppose you wanted to print your values, so you go only for this my whatever you have defined function, and then only use the parenthesis. Fine, this has now created. So you have defined my function, and in this my function, in the braces parenthesis, you have print welcome to ML using the Python. So while we have created one function, my function, and under this function what we are defining this print welcome to ML using Python. So now we are executing this program. It means that value has been stored in a function. If somewhere it is being required, so how we can call this? So the second process is being called as, here it is called as a defining of function. Now we are going for call of a function. How we can call the function? So suppose we are looking to call the function, we can simply go for my underscore, whatever the name of your function is here, function, and using a bracket, and just simply execute this one. Welcome to ML using Python. So this is really much interesting. Anywhere within your program, wherever it is required, whatever you have defined in that will be called up here. Just take another very good example for that. Suppose I'm defining one function and giving it a name as a greeting, and under that I'm defining a name. Any name can be utilized that. Fix it up. Then after I'm printing whatever the value you want to print, like suppose I'm saying hello, giving a space here. Then I've already told you we can concatenate two strings, and here we are just calling in this function C. It's important. We are giving a name, then going ahead and saying something happy birthday. See what I have done. So here I am just defining a function in which I have just given a name as greeting, and under this function name is basically the one, and I'm executing it. It means this whole value will be stored under the greet function name of this one, name. So I'm executing this one. That's done. At the next stage, I'm creating a new code line, and under this code line, see, I'm just giving some value to this function. It means the greeting is a name function that can be utilized here, and I'm giving a name as Pankaj. See what I've done? So I have just assigned a name to a function, and here I'm utilizing this print value name over here and just giving a name to this and executing this program. Hello Pankaj, happy birthday. So this is what exactly. So see what I have called? I have called the whole value with the distinguished name what I can easily assign during the call of a function. If suppose I didn't give this name here, so the whole value will be called up. And here, as I am not using it as a character but using a print value, so whatever the value assigned in a name, that will be printed here. So this is the beauty of the print command, and here we are getting an attribute of the function command that you can easily define any value in that. So later on, if it is being required, you can call it easily. So see, it is much interesting. You can create your own experimented function calls. Try it once. You can do different kind of expectation and with the data values too. So meanwhile, so now we are able to understand basically how the functions are created and can be called. Sometime it might be possible when you have just called the function, and many times it may be required that you need to go back to your original position from it was being called. It means you have a certain program and function is being called, executed, then after it is required, it should go back to its own position. Then in this condition, the return statement is very much important. So how we can work upon? So I'm just taking to just save the time here. So here, let's come with me. So well, under this situation, we have defined a function. So I have just defined a function absolute value. So you may define your own one, anything can be written over here. And here I've just taken the function, the value as an argument as a number, num. So whatever is here, so you may just take your own small, whatever your changes you want to create. So here is it is defined the absolute value of number. The concept of the program I have just taken, I want to know every time the absolute value of a number what I'm entering. So here I'm putting a condition, if a statement I'm just giving, if number is greater than equals to 0, return to num, and else it is returned to -1. So it means it is showing the condition, checking up this condition. If this condition is true, then it is going to the function again, and when this condition is coming like that, else, then it will going like that. Printing this absolute value. So now this is the whole being defined in a function. This is complete value is being defined in a function. So I'm just defining printing the absolute value of 2, print absolute value of -4. Let's see. So the absolute value of 2 is 2, and the absolute value of -4 is also +4. So here we are talking about the absolute value. Just understand this program. See here, if a number is positive, then definitely it is going again to the function and printing its value. And if the number is negative, else it is going to returning to the value when it is making the number negative and the negative. So if the number is negative and the negative sign is being created, it will become positive, so that you can be able to get the positive value of a number only. So if it is a number positive, you are receiving this value. If the number is negative, you are receiving negative of negative, that means the positive value. So every time you are just getting this positive. The importance of this one, this num is called for this one and the num is called for this one. Repeated values are being called. This is really the good one. Let's take another example which is carrying all the functional attribute as well as the result and the return attributes too. So let's define a function. First of all, in this particular program, we are trying to find out if we have suppose two numbers, and under that number, first condition is there, we are trying to find out whether the number is basically a low value or a high value. The first attribute is there, it is a low value or a high value, or if it is a high value, can we make it more high or not? So this is what exactly we are looking for. So let's begin with that. We are defining a function. First of all, Let's say we are creating operating. Under that we are defining opt underscore function. So this is basically first argument I'm just taking, and here I'm taking a number. So I have just defined a function. It means that function has a value, operating function, what is the operating function and what is the number. And over that I'm printing this value here, print operating. I have just taken opt underscore func, and what is inside that? Whatever the operating function is being called, in that number is to be printed. Remember that you have to add the column here. Now under the function we are defining again and checking. So here we have a main function, and under that we are defining another function checking whether the number is high or not. Is high what? The number we are talking about. And how it can be calculated? We have a if and else condition. If number greater than, I am just taking one other number, 10,000, then it will return on true. If this condition is not being satisfied, it will go to return as false. Another time I'm just taking this example. Same, using this again. Defining again. Now I wish to make it powerful. How can I make it powerful? It means more strong, high value. Make higher. I have just taken this function. To what? Same as number, colon. Please take care about that. It's important. If number is less than equals to 10,000, then return to your function on 11,000. Else return to number. Finally, what I have created a final function. I am calling it operate, and in between I have just called the function is high. Then I've just taken an example here, 8,000. Sorry. Operate, and the second time I have just called the make high. So I'm just making it high to what number? I'm just making it high to 10,000. This is a complete program. So let's begin it with again. What I have just done, initially I just taken this operate function number. I'm just using print, whatever the function will be there, that will be printed with the number. Defining internal function is high number. It will go for checking the condition, this one. If this condition is true, it will return to this, else if this condition is true, it will go to the false. The first statement will be here. And the second time I'm just making it higher, checking the number. If number, the two conditions are there, one function is being called here and the second function is being called. If number is less than 10 equal to 10,000, under this condition this number will be going to 11,000 else. Returning to number, operate is high, checking is whether this 8,000 is high, so this will check out this condition. I'm just putting the number here, number I'm just giving because I have already defined this one. So operate is high and I'm giving number, I'm giving this number 8,000, and operate make high, this condition is equivalent to less than or equal to condition is here, I'm making it 11,000. Let's check this. So while checking this function it again, so find what we have done. We have created basically a function in which it is a number and that will be printing on. In between we are calling the two different functions. The first function we are defining as is high, it is checking. This is the first function, it is working on a module to check the number and it will tell us to true or false statement. And the second function which we have defined to make the number higher. If suppose it has a value, it is creating its value as 11,000, and this will be created on the basis of checking of this one. So while we are running this program, so operate is high, so first condition is being checked. If suppose I'm just giving a number 8,000, so it is checking is high, so it is giving answer no, it's not high, it's false. And the second condition make higher, it means it is making 10,000, it is checking the condition, it is less than or equals to 10,000, yes, then it is making it 11,000. Let's create a small changes program. I'm just creating this value 1001. Sorry, one more 1. So it's creating 10,000 just incremented by the one value, and instead of putting this here, I'm making it 9,000. And now running my program. So obviously this 9,000, I'm sorry, I have to run this again because I have created the changes. Done. So I'm now running it again. Well, so checking this condition, this 9,000 is now a false condition, is giving an answer false, and 10,000 is incremented by 1. So the two different functions are simultaneously called through this operate is high. And what is our operate? Operate is the defined function here, and it has defined into two categories. First, the name of the function, whatever the function name you are just giving, and the second is your number. So this is being called up here. So similarly, if suppose you are putting this value as 10,000 and now running this program, so this 10,000 is less than equals to the condition is here, it is being checked. If the number is greater than 10,000 only, then it is high. So I have to put this number as 10,001 to make it correct. So now it has become true. Fine. So it's a really very good example of defining and returning of a function. If it is defining a function, it is calling up the function, returning to its original value, again defining the function, returning to the function, whatever the module is being called, that is called by the main function and its sub functions. So I hope so you might be able to really understand this program and you really able to understand the function values and the function attributes. In the next video we'll go for the more examples related with the all type of examples, like we have just taken the conditional statement here, we have just taken the print statement here, functions are already here. So meanwhile we'll go for the next. Till then, keep enjoying the machine learning using Python. We'll have more exploration of the things. If you have any question, please mention in the comment box so that in the next video I'll definitely cover all those things also. Till then, take care. Bye bye. See you all again.